Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm speaking today on why I will vote against Kash Patel as the nominee to be director of the FBI. The FBI, as my colleagues have spoken to at length, is one of the world's most important, powerful, and respected law enforcement agencies. And the tens of thousands of agents who serve us all across our nation are a key bulwark against terrorism, against extremism, against crimes that range from the theft of intellectual property to interstate gangs that carry out human trafficking or murder for hire. The FBI is an absolutely critical part of our nation's security, and it rests on trust. It rests on having an independent leader. Back to the dark days of J. Edgar Hoover being a politically connected and compromised FBI leader, in the decades since his tenure ended, we have engaged in a disciplined, balanced, bipartisan process to confirm FBI directors for long terms, 10-year terms. And I have voted for Republican nominees put forward by Republican presidents. We need, as director of the FBI, someone who will stand up for the men and women of this incredible law enforcement agency. And in his testimony before this committee and in his comments and actions before coming in front of this committee, Kash Patel has shown that he is not that leader. He is already actively undermining the bureau he seeks to lead. As someone who is the co-chair of the Law Enforcement Caucus and who spent years leading, supervising, responsible for the second largest law enforcement agency in my state, I see in Mr. Patel an alarming willingness to do the bidding of a vengeful White House. As you heard from my colleague, Senator Durbin, whistleblowers are alleging that he has already helped orchestrate the purge of the most senior leadership of the FBI, as well as those agents who were simply doing their job as assigned to them to carry out January 6th investigations. This purge is only the start of what I fear is about to come. The FBI has demanded that, the administration has demanded that the FBI turn over a list of its newest recruits and employees, has pushed out the head of the Washington field office and other top leadership, and is giving roles to folks who lack the relevant professional experience. The FBI needs independence, but Mr. Patel told me when I asked him that he believes the FBI works for the White House. I asked that same question of several other recent nominees, and they gave the correct answer, that federal law enforcement, whether the Department of Justice or the FBI, works for the Constitution and the American people. The FBI doesn't work for the White House. It works for all of us. Attorney General Pam Bondi got that question right. Todd Blanche and Gail Slater got that question right in their hearing yesterday. How is it that Kash Patel flunked that easiest and most central question? Not just to whom do you report, but for whom do you serve? As I said, we've seen what a dark chapter can be when the FBI is led by someone who is politically connected and by whom he politically corrupts the goals and purpose of the FBI, and I fear that we are heading into one of those chapters again. As I questioned him during his confirmation, I asked Mr. Patel if he, like his predecessors, would be willing to resign rather than take an unconstitutional or illegal action if ordered by the president. He refused to answer that question. I asked him if he would resign if President Trump asked him to go after a political enemy, and he refused to answer that question. I asked him if he would resign if the president asked him to block an investigation due to political considerations, and he refused to answer. These are questions that I asked of Directors Comey and Wray, and that they answered. If Patel refuses to answer these simple questions, questions that I think are rooted in recent developments and in his repeated public statements, questions that his predecessors have answered clearly, forcefully, and appropriately, how can we trust him to lead the FBI? I implore my Republican colleagues to reconsider the step I believe they are about to take to confirm this man to lead one of our most important elements of our law enforcement community. Around the world, our security depends on trust and reliability, and the national security role of the FBI director, the ways in which our FBI is critical to the work of our intelligence community and our military and others overseas as they work to keep us safe, cannot be overlooked. The men and women of the FBI deserve better than Kash Patel. to lead an agency whose watchwords are fidelity, bravery, and integrity. We need someone who has demonstrated their commitment to all three. Americans deserve better than Kash Patel. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator.
Thank you.
Oh,
Senator